Hello, friends. So, today I'm going to be talking about subsidy removal, and how it affects you. But let's really find out what this subsidy means. Subsidy is a transfer of money from the government to an entity, which leads to the fall in the price of the subsidized products. That means a product is supposed to be selling for 500 naira. Maybe, take for example, fuel. It's supposed to be selling for 500 naira per liter. But the government, in its wisdom, decides to pay an amount of money to the company and cuts down the price of the product to be affordable for you and I. And so the liter sells for 200 naira. That is really subsidy. What is the objective of subsidy really? What is the objective of subsidy? Is to bolster the welfare of the society, just like a welfare scheme to reduce sufferings and to ameliorate the sufferings of people in the societies, just like a welfare scheme. And mind you, there are other kinds of subsidy, not just fuel or petrol subsidy around the world. We have cash grants, we have interest-free loans, we have tax breaks, and other kinds of things that the government does. The government intervenes to ensure that people have reduced in cost of goods and services and have a better life. Now, there are other words for subsidy. They include grants, allowance, contribution, subvention, aids, allotment, support, and assistance. And when it comes to subsidy removal in Nigeria, or subsidy in particular, the government intervenes to reduce the cost of fuel, like I've said earlier on. It gives financial support to companies to subsidize their products to consumers. Now, according to the NMPC, they said that they spend 400 billion naira to subsidize petroleum products monthly. And if you calculate that by a year annually, like in 2022, according to the reports, 4.33 trillion 4.33 trillion was spent on subsidy. And you see how much goes into subsidizing the products for you and I to buy. It's a huge chunk of money that could have been used for infrastructural development and other things. So it's just like a waste pipe from my own point of view. Now, what are the effects of subsidy? Like, you can see what's going on right now in the country. There's inflation, there's increase in the cost of goods and services. Now, if you buy fuel at 500 naira per liter, everything skyrockets because most of the goods and services really depend on fuel, depend on petrol. Transport will increase, food will increase, so many other things will increase. Now, what is the Nigerian government saying? They are saying that they intend to use the money for subsidy to invest in critical infrastructure and divert those money that are being wasted like a conduit pipe to critical infrastructure in order to better the livelihood or the lives of the average Nigerian. So, what do nations really do to cushion the effects of subsidy? Nigeria is not the only country that pays for subsidies. So many other countries subsidize products and services for their populace. So, what did they do? Now, if the price of goods and services have gone up, what did they do? Now, they increase the minimum wage or salaries of workers, both in the private and the public sector, to be able to cope with the pressure, cope with the demands, cope with the increase of goods and services, the increased salaries, the increased allowances, and all of that. What about conditional cash transfers to poor homes, to vulnerable society, for the vulnerable people in the society? If you find a way to give them palliatives, give them cash, you're trying to sustain the livelihood of the populace. What about free public transport systems? The government has to roll out mass transport systems to cushion the effect of the increase in the transportation that people are spending so much for palliatives, foodstuff are given to societies, to people in the society. Now, you have to refine your product. Now, Nigeria has a problem. We have refineries, but our refineries are not working. So what we do is that when we produce this crude oil, we transport to other countries to refine. Those products are being refined into fuel and being transported back to Nigeria and be so. Look at the amount of money that is being spent in transporting it to other countries. You pay for refining there, then you bring it back again to sell. That is outrageous. So what is the Nigerian? What do we need to do? What does Nigeria need to do? If we have moribund refineries, the best thing to do is to try and revive and revitalize these refineries. We should be able to refine our own crude oil. We should be able to refine them here. As we produce, we refine and we sell. Instead of sending it to other countries to refine and bring back. I think Nigeria is a great nation. Nigeria is a blessed nation. We have to really get it right. For me, I support the removal of fuel subsidy, but it has to be done in a very, very systematic way. The policy must be well thought out, well planned, and well communicated, and you don't allow people to suffer because you want to remove fuel subsidy. So what are your palliatives? What are your plans? What are you bringing to the table? How do you cushion the effects of the increase in fuel and removal of subsidy? You have to outline those plans and implement them. Then people can buy into the removal of subsidy. Thank you very much for listening.